Hi, so this is my first post in this sub. I want to start off by saying that reading all of the encounters posted here made me want to share my own. I don't know if it's as intense as some, but my experience definitely scared the shit out of me. To start, let me explain myself. I'm 5'7", 113 pounds, and I was 16 at the time of the encounter. I'm a multi-sport athlete: track, handball, volleyball, basketball, and hockey. And I have insomnia. This all happened around 2 a.m. on August 10th of 2019. I had been over to my best friend's place because she'd just returned home from a vacation and she had birthday presents for me. Hoodies and gummies, if you're curious. I had spent almost an hour there already and wanted to head back home soon because, honestly, my town is scary at night. Drug dealers, rapists, and murderers, you know the deal. So I waved goodbye to my best friend and started walking down her street. I guess a party had just let up, because behind me at the end of the road, about 20 or 30 yards from where I was standing, there were a couple of men walking across the crosswalk. They were both pretty tall, I'm guessing between 5'11" and 6'3". The two seemed harmless at first when I looked in their direction, but soon they came to a stop. They were both looking at me. At this point, I felt uncomfortable, so I just kept walking. That's when I overheard what one of them said. "Hey, that's a girl." At this, I whipped my head around. They were starting to walk in my direction now, and one of the two men had moved over towards the sidewalk where there was no light. I knew at this point that something wasn't right, and I began to pick up my pace. They were still getting closer. I didn't know where the second guy was, but when I looked back, the first guy was still following me down the middle of the road. I think they were planning to cut me off and try to trap me between the two of them. The minute I was about 13 yards from the T intersection, I started to run. And that's when the yelling started. Oh, great! Now she's running! I hooked a sharp right and then a left. I could still hear them behind me, and at this point, all I knew was that I couldn't stop moving. I had to lose them somehow. I was coming up to an apartment building with a small parking lot behind it. There were no lights. I made the split-second decision to veer off into the parking lot, and I squeezed myself under one of the cars. I don't know how long I waited there. It could have been a minute, but it felt like a lifetime. I watched the two men run past. They didn't bother to check under the cars, which was definitely in my favor. The minute I felt I was safe, I backtracked and took a different route back to my home. I was too scared to take the main route in the fear that I would have bumped into them. I know what I'm about to say is stupid, but I didn't go to the police. I wouldn't have been able to give a proper description of the men because I hadn't seen their faces. If there's anything I learned from my experience, it's that no matter who you are, you need to be extremely careful. You can think that the part of town or city that you live in is safe, but that really isn't the case. There is no protective barrier to keep out people with bad intentions. Please, whatever you do, watch your surroundings as if your life depends on it. If I had been listening to my music and not paying attention, I'd hate to think what could have happened to me. I hope that no one else has to experience the fear that I did. It was almost like prey being chased by predators. And to the men who followed me, let's never meet again.